Hey guys, so here's my second attempt at making a chassis for my Sumo Crawler. On my last chassis, I tried to make one that will be about the size of the original piece, just to kind of keep it the same as what it was. This is actually a small one though. Not that I had anything against that bigger one, but I kind of wanted to make it resemble a little bit my XR10 that I'm making a build of. So I decided to make a real small chassis for it, but while doing so I still wanted to keep all the same articulation that I was getting out of the other chassis. For that I made some adjustments on the link lengths. Actually just on the top parts, I had to lengthen this so that I could bring them in closer to the center of the chassis, and the shocks and the bottom points, they're still the same. Now because I stretched these out and put them on the outside of the chassis, I'm able to keep exactly the same kind of articulation that I was getting before doing this with my other chassis. If you look at the bottom, you can kind of see the double triangulated, I guess you call it, link setup. Kind of stole the idea from the XR10 actually, to where I would put them outside of the body to kind of make two triangles. It helps. I mean, still the same kind of articulation I was getting before with the other chassis, but because I went to this tiny little chassis, I was kind of worried that I would lose some of that, but I actually didn't. Now in doing this chassis, I wanted to make it as small as I possibly could. One, I wanted it, just because it looked cool, and two, because I just didn't want to have a bunch of stuff hanging around so that I could get caught up on. This chassis, I've actually cut it to fit the whole rig itself as far as size goes. If you look in front, the chassis goes just before you get to the servo, so you got about I want to say about 2 millimeters left there in space, and on the back you have about 2, maybe 3 millimeters in space. Now it doesn't rub up against it, it doesn't hit the servo. With the setup that I have on these links, the length that I have, nothing rubs, everything just moves freely. Now this chassis is only to be used with the lipo, obviously. That in there is my 250 milliamp hour 2S lipo, and the other side, and right here we have the ESC, which I have actually moved to the other side of the chassis. I did that because I wanted to kind of even out the weight. The battery is always going to be a little bit heavier than the ESC, obviously, but because the Sumo has a tendency to twist the body, well, to this side mostly when you're going forward, that battery will help to kind of counter that. Now these are stickers obviously from the XR10, and I figured I'd put them in there. If you look at it from the front, this chassis is actually a little bit wider than the servo itself. From the top. Now it's a little bit wider because I didn't like the way the other chassis looked. The other chassis, I thought, it was nice that it could get around places because of the small width, but it just didn't look right. It looked kind of funny. Now this chassis is made out of polycarbonate, which is Lexan, but it's really thick, or at least for this size of a build. It's about 0.06. If you guys want to look that up, that's the size of that polycarbonate. It doesn't bend easily. As a matter of fact, you don't even need posts to stiffen up the top of it. It's just stiff as it is, it will not move. These right here, I haven't cut into them. They're actually cut them out of the tape itself just to kind of make it look nice. But I will cut them eventually just to take a little bit of weight off. Not that it's going to make a big difference. I mean, I'm hardly even going to notice it, but you know a lot of people are going to comment and say, well, that's heavy. Well, it's not. Anyways, that's chassis number 2. You guys let me know what you think about it. Any comments appreciated. I mean, anything you guys want to say will help me to make better videos and do things that will actually help you guys out there. So I hope you enjoy. And there's the Sumo.